Yo, what's good, fam? Welcome to PNP. It's your boy Rashad. We got Dave, and man, we got special guests. We got special guests in the building. I found this dude back in the day when Leonard Williams was before he got extended. He was about to hit the market. I said, man, let me do some self scouting here. He might become a Panther. So I started hitting the Googles. Uh, I found my man Diggy 546. What's good, brother?
Hey, what's going
Representing the
on?
Giants. What's going on, brother?
Man, it's been a crazy season for the Giants so far, but yeah, they have pretty much done the exact opposite of what everybody thought that they were going to do. I thought that at worst they would be like around what they look like second half of last year, like they would disappoint and be like 6-11, which they still could possibly be. But this way that they started off and all the injuries, man, it's a wrap for the season. I'm going to just tell you that it's a wrap for
You
the
throwing you
season at
throwing
this
the
point.
towel in for the season, dog.
If you would watch these games, man, yeah, it's a wrap, man. And I know it's crazy coming in here as like I'm your opponent scout, and I'm telling you the opponent team is pretty much wrapped up.
Yeah,
Well, one thing
go
I
ahead.
will say, Sam Darnold has not won a game without Christian McCaffrey. And the way you're talking, it seems like he's finally going to get his dub.
Listen, the thing that I've learned about being a Giants fan, I mean, the Giants fans have pretty much this is like the angriest, the most like checked out I've seen Giants fans be ever. I mean, ever at least, since I've been a Giants fan and I've seen other, people on YouTube and on Twitter or whatever. But I'm never surprised when the Giants go out and just play crazy, flawless football and go out and just look like an amazing team. It just doesn't show up consistently. So there are opportunities, but right now we're a team. Our quarterback had a concussion a couple of weeks ago. We're missing our left tackle who was playing at really, I mean, if you ask me, like an all pro level for a couple of weeks, and he goes out for 3 weeks. We don't really have much O-line depth besides him. We've had pretty much 2 really bad tackles on the right side. It seems like every time one of those right tackles between Nate Solder and Matt Parrott starts to settle in and look solid, Andrew Thomas gets hurt, and one of them ends up moving to left tackle, and it just throws off the synergy of the offensive line. We're missing our starting center for the start of the year. Nick Gates is out. Shane Lemieux, our starting left guard, he's out. We're on our probably what? We had Bredesen play left guard this year. We had Skura play left guard. We had Wes Martin play left guard. It's been, I would say that the team started out underperforming, and as the weeks got going on, once the injuries start to happen, it's kind of hard to recover from underplaying what you were supposed to play like. It's the crazy situation. I mean, every single thing that I was excited about, every single thing that I could really hang my hat on, like if we had Kadarius Toney this week, I could be like, this dude is so electric that he could just make some plays that really aren't there. But he's out. And if you ask me, he should probably be on IR for the next 3 weeks. He hasn't been put on there, but I'm pretty sure he's not going to play this game. Kenny Golladay, the same thing. He's not going to play this game. We're missing a ton of people. So this is going to be on Daniel Jones. Last time he played against Hassan Reddick, the dude had 5 sacks against us.
You brought it up before I did because
he played against the same tackle, Matt Parrott. He played against Matt Parrott and had 5 sacks. I'm just going to say, looking into it, I try to keep it as real as possible. So that's why when people see my channel and they see me saying that I think the Giants are going to win, it's because I think from a football perspective, they're going to win. But on paper, when I'm looking at, even though the Panthers have been struggling, they've had some issues. Sam Darnold kind of had, would you consider that probably his worst game so far this season?
Nah, the Eagles game might have been,
it's
debatable.
It's debatable, but he's going downhill quickly.
Yeah.
So he's struggling without C-Mac. There's some things we know the C-Mac does to the defenses and make defenses adjust. And he's missing that. Our offensive line is not that great even when healthy. So we got some issues Very similar. I mean, we don't have near as many injuries as you guys,
Yeah.
but it feels like it though, because when C-Mac goes, the
whole offense comes
team,
with it.
Yeah, the whole offense goes with it. So while it may not feel like it, while it's not like that in reality, it definitely feels like it.
But we can we still got time to blame the guy that you guys currently has as the GM for why our offensive line is trash anyway.
You took the question right out of my mouth, Dave. That was my next question. How do you feel about David Gettleman? Because he ruined our team. So I want to see how he's ruining your team. How do you feel about him? Do you feel the same way that we feel about him? Because he turned our shit around and took us straight downhill, bro. So how you feeling about DG?
So Dave Gettleman, I think he's getting I think he's kind of getting scapegoated. Now, this isn't me saying that I think he's like this good GM, because I think he has a lot of flaws in the way that he builds teams. He doesn't really value edge, which is bad. and in this type of NFL, he doesn't really value edge. He's missed on the offensive line. He has tried to address it, but he's missed over and over again. And any team with a bad offensive line and no pass rush is not a team that you can hang your hat on. It puts way too much pressure on the skill players to outperform the lines of scrimmage. He's a guy you all know. He puts a lot of emphasis on the defensive tackle position.
He does,
and
offensive line, but he just misses.
Even probably a little bit less here, but we let Dalvin Tomlinson go because we had to pretty much choose between him and Leonard Williams. But in a 3-4 defense, I mean, a dominant nose tackle, the way that Dalvin Tomlinson was so dominant in the middle, we miss him a lot. We cannot set the line of scrimmage the way we did pretty much all last year. We brought in Danny Shelton, and that dude is about 370 pounds, and he gets pushed around like he's 170. To be honest with you, it's crazy to watch. So
yeah. It's interesting you bring those guys up, because I think one of our issues, right, is the interior offensive line. So if you're gonna win, I mean, that's gonna be where you can attack.
Yeah, I can kind of. Leonard Williams has been quietly having a decent season. Last week he had 2 sacks. He had a couple of nice spin moves. So that might be a problem for you in spots. But again, he's on the interior of the defensive line. Leonard Williams is a really good player, and I could even justify giving him that contract that we gave him. But without a consistent edge, a consistent average edge on the outside, it's going to be really hard for him to really just set the tone and take over a game, because they'll just start doubling him.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard. I mean, and he doesn't really have much depth as far as being able to rotate out and get a breather. So he might make some plays early on in the game. You might say, "Oh man, we doing this against the Giants, man." And then about
we won't. We won't be surprised, bro. Trust me. We won't be. If it happens, we will be like, "Yep, we knew it. We knew it was gonna happen."
Yeah.
Especially with Leonard Williams.
Only way it'll be surprising is if you guys go at us. I mean, third quarter's the key, man. The third quarter's been key all year. So for us,
and I guess one thing that's kind of been a trend for the Giants, pretty much all of last year when our defense was looked at as a good defense, we pretty much allow a touchdown drive at the end of every first half. Every single end of every first half, besides maybe about 2 or 3 games, we allow a touchdown drive. So that loses any momentum we have going into the half. And then towards the end of the game, seems like we always give that up too. And now when your defense is playing worse in the other parts of the game, and they're giving up the touchdowns in the most crucial situations of the game, it's really hard to win. And again, we're missing Blake Martinez out for the year. He was the leader in the middle of that defense. He had people, in the right spots. We have a ton of people on here that are underperforming, not even their contracts, but what they've been last year. I mean, they took 2 or 3 steps back, a ton of missed tackles.
One of those guys, James Bradbury?
Yeah, Bradbury, he looked, man, that dude looked crazy good last year. I would say last game, he looked like the same. He looked not the same guy, but he looked like, okay, like this could possibly be the same player I saw play last year. But this first, 4 or 5 games before that, completely different player, because what's been happening is that he's playing a lot of off coverage. He's playing a lot of man coverage and playing really close and then not getting his hands on people. So I don't know if they're telling him to do that, but if Bradbury can't, bump and run, if he can't get physical at the line and set the tone, he's not going to be able to just, shift his hips and go back and forth with receivers that can run great routes. That's not his game. He got to get physical.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't think we have any great route runners per se. I mean, we've got good guys. DJ Moore is solid. But I don't think we have an elite route runner per se. It's interesting because Matt Rule during his press conference said that he anticipates James Bradbury to shadow DJ Moore, and I think that's an interesting matchup. But what was your thoughts?
Happen.
Okay,
I don't think that'll happen. If you look at our defense the entire year, it's Bradbury on the left side, it's Adoree Jackson on the right side, and they really don't move. Again, DJ Moore, the Giants defense has been so bad that it's really up to like one player can really just change the game for another team. I want to say that like I have some sort of something in my mind that thinks that I can win the game. But it's just the defense. The fundamentals of the defense is so bad. DJ Moore is really good after the catch. We've gotten to get a little bit, we've gotten a little taste of that with Kadarius Toney on the Giants side. And seeing a player like that could turn something, they could turn nothing into something against a defense that is probably, haven't seen every team, but at least bottom 3 or 4 in tackling. I mean, every single time we make contact at the line of scrimmage, behind the line of scrimmage, and guys break tackles, the Giants, if they want to have a shot in this game, the first thing they're going to have to do is to be able to get guys down at the catch. And if they have somebody in the backfield, actually make the tackle, because there's been a ton of times where the Giants, they get that penetration, they're in the backfield, and someone breaks the tackle, and he's going for, 14, 15 yards. So it's really, they've been playing sloppy football all year. And then what I could hang my hat on was Daniel Jones early on in the season making good decisions because he had the ultimate trust in Andrew Thomas. But with Andrew Thomas out, you have a ton of pressure coming from that left side and the right side. And Daniel Jones, at this point in his career, he's not able to function under, there's about 4 or 5 quarterbacks that can function under the type of pressure that the Giants offensive line is giving up right about now. So
yeah, and it's interesting you say that because we've come into a situation where our pass rush is essentially non-existent the past couple games, right? We haven't gotten any sacks, and we're just like, where's the pass rush? And it's been said that the level of quarterback we're playing is better, right? So we played Zach Wilson, we played Jameis Winston, we played Davis Mills, and we were able to feast on those dudes, right? I mean, multiple sack games. But now you go against a Hurts, you go against Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins was able to find Dak Prescott. They're able to get rid of the ball quick, find those outlets, move the plays around, or extend the pocket, and so they're doing really well. And I feel like because of what you're saying with the lack of the amount of injuries you guys have up front, I feel like the Panthers will be able to take advantage of that. And I don't think, no disrespect to Daniel Jones, I don't think he's a world beater per se. I know he can run. I know he's done some things with his legs.
Yeah, I mean, at this point in his career, I would agree with you. He has to show more for you to, go into a game as an opposing team and say like, oh, we really got to worry about this dude taking over the game, especially when he's missing his 2 starting tackles. So, I would agree with you at that point.
So I say that to say I think this is going in just a prediction, man. I think we're gonna have at least four sacks this game. I think you're gonna see a real different front. I think they're gonna be aggressive, and I think Brian Burns is gonna have at least 2 sacks in this game. He's been struggling, and I think he's been hearing the whispers. People kind of doubting him now. He ain't legit. I feel like both of those guys, Hassan Reddick and Brian Burns, are going to get after this game. Just because, again, the quarterback, the injuries you guys have up front, I think they're going to pin their ears back. And I think our cornerbacks will be able to do enough to kind of hold down some of the receivers you guys have. So talk to me a little bit more about the offense, though, right? So talk to me about, Saquon is down.
Looks like he might be coming back this week, right?
Is he back?
Not this week. He wasn't in practice today, so he had a low ankle sprain, which is better than a high ankle sprain. But I wouldn't expect him to be back this week. Earliest I can see him coming back is maybe next week or the week after. But it doesn't look like they're trying to ramp him up into anything. If he plays, I mean, I would give him maybe about a 20% chance of playing, but I wouldn't expect it at all.
So without Saquon, what can we expect out of the run game? Because I feel like I know. Yeah, I'm just saying. I feel like we haven't given up a ton of rushing yards. If you look at the stats, right, I think we rank 15th in the run game. So we're giving up 111 per game, 111 yards per game, and those it's really skewed by the Giants. The Vikings game we gave up I think $198, and then we gave up 200 some to Dallas. But before that, I mean, we were really good, really stout against the run. So talk to me a little bit about the run.
So we haven't been able to run the ball even with Saquon. I mean, this offensive line, I give a lot of credit to our offensive line coach, Rob Sale. He's been able to kind of almost scheme pass protection. The pass protection before last week and maybe before Dallas, especially when you have someone at left tackle that you don't really have to give any help to, it was really good. Daniel Jones at times had like 4 or 5 seconds to throw the ball. And, you saw him making great decision after great decision. He was moving the ball up and down the field. We had red zone issues that prevented us from putting up enough points. But between the 20s, we were moving the chains, no problem. And I would have confidence going into any game because the offense was humming. But with all the injuries, even before the injuries, when we were pretty much, we never really had Lemieux. We had Lemieux for about 2 snaps, and then he came out of the game. And the same thing with Nick Gates in like the second game. Since those 2 went out, we cannot run the football at all. There's penetration when the running back touches the ball. He's getting hit in the backfield. He's getting hit at the line of scrimmage. Occasionally we'll have a 14-yard run, but other than that, the running game is Daniel Jones. The running game is the option, and if Daniel Jones can run that option and get to the edge, he can make a couple of plays, a couple of big plays. You all have seen it, where they don't check for him and he's gone for about 40 yards. And that kind of opens up things for the running back at times. But throughout a consistent running game, we haven't had that all year. We just haven't been able to run the ball. That's one thing that we have not been able to do consistently. I almost feel better about the line pass blocking and allowing Daniel Jones to do things downfield than run blocking, just because of the way our coach has been kind of scheming that pass protection.
Yeah, even against the pass, it's interesting because we're going to get back C.J. Henderson. C.J. Henderson sat last week, but we could see the debut of Stephon Gilmore, which he's not going to play. He's not going to play the full game. Just pump the brake. He's not going to play the full game. He's going to probably play. I know when Stephon Gilmore when C.J. Henderson debuted, he played about 15 snaps.
Man, I wish y'all still had J.C. Horn. Just as a football fan, I really like J.C. watching that dude play.
Yeah, JC is nice, bro. He's really good. But I like other young corners too. Keith Taylor, he held his own against Adam Thielen last week. Thielen caught an amazing touchdown on him. There ain't much you can do about that. But I'm confident in our secondary. I think one thing that we got picked apart last week was, man, it was dudes running wide. I don't know if it was some miscommunications in the secondary, but some dudes was just getting wide open. And I'm not sure what was going on. So I do have some concerns. I think depending on who plays, right? Because last week we didn't have C.J. Henderson or we didn't have Stephon Gilmore. It was just Keith Taylor, who's a rookie, and we had Dante Jackson, and then we had Sam Franklin back there at safety. And those are guys we really aren't supposed to be relying on. So we'll see as we get healthier and as Stephon Gilmore plays. I really want to see those guys continue to get tested. And you said no Galladay, right? So who is playing?
Darius Slayton.
I'm going to tell you, Slayton, he had a hamstring about 3 weeks ago with Sterling Shepard, the same game. Shep came back last game. He's kind of, getting back into the offense. One thing about Sterling Shepard, he seems to be playing the best football he's played in his career so far. So I expect him to move the chains a couple of times, make a couple of plays that he shouldn't make. Darius Slayton is always going to be a deep threat, but his problem is he can't run the full route tree. So he's going to be a guy that if the attention isn't on him, he's going to get down the field a couple of times, but he doesn't have consistent hands. He can't be a guy that can run those other routes to move the chains, 15, 16 yards. He's not consistent enough. But I will say he's better than, the rest of the guys we have out there, which are, pretty much practice squad guys. But our top three guys that you all will know about that will probably be getting the most reps, it'll be Sterling Shepard, it'll be Darius Slayton, and it'll be John Ross. Now, John Ross is interesting. Out of all of the signings, Giants fans didn't really expect much from him. He hasn't done a bunch of things, but he's only been back for about 2 or 3 weeks from injury. That's been his career. But in the Saints game, he pretty much got down the field, got behind the defense, and I think he's a threat just with his speed to do that every week. So he's always a threat to be a 50, 60-yard touchdown. But those are going to be our top 3 receivers. I'm not really that confident in those guys being able to sustain plays all game besides Sterling Shepard. So if, they wake up and they just all have the games of their life and they all play up to their potential, then yeah, we can move the ball a little bit. But at the same time, how are we going to throw it deep to John Ross and throw it deep to Darius Slayton if Andrew Thomas is out and we got 2 tackles that they can't give it, us any time to get the ball down the field?
Yeah.
Also, Evan Ingram is there. Evan Ingram is a mismatch nightmare, but he's not consistent at catching the ball either. And a lot of times he slips on routes, causes turnovers. He tips the ball in the air. I mean, the amount of turnovers Evan Ingram has kind of caused has been ridiculous from someone. Like they called the tight end the safety blanket. And it's like anytime the ball goes towards him, we're holding our breath. But he's also another guy that could flip the game out of nowhere. So it's a bunch of boom or bust guys out here with Sterling Shepard is kind of like your chain mover.
Yeah, it's interesting that passing game is really strength versus strength, right? Because you guys are top 10 in passing, total pass yards per game, and we are our defense is second in the league in pass yards per game given up. So that's strength versus strength. Somebody got to take the L, and so that's going to be one to watch. It's a matchup to watch.
One thing I'll say is it's kind of not strength versus strength at this point because we're missing really our top 2 receivers.
Right.
Galladay is out. He's been kind of in and out of the lineup. He's not going to be playing. And then Tony. I mean, he caused so many big plays from Kadarius Toney. He only got about 2 or 3 games where he actually got some snaps so far. So without those 2, we're not really that same passing game. Sterling Shepard is really the only player out of those top 3 guys that I would say has had, a good game this year. He's had a couple of good games. The rest of those guys, it's all up to Daniel Jones to make something out of nothing, and it's all up to those players to actually catch the ball when it goes towards them, and be able to play within the offense and make plays.
Yeah, I mean, our defense definitely is going to. We got to step it up because we gave up a ton of yards last week. So I think they're going to be definitely looking to bounce back. So that's going to definitely be a matchup to watch, especially if we got to be able to stop the run. I know you say you guys aren't really a threat running a football, but hey, you tried enough times, you may get one to pop.
You'll break one, man.
Yeah, because for sure, because Dalvin Cook did it. And I think the Eagles could have did it. They just didn't. They chose
not to do it.
The Eagles, man, what's up with them and running the ball?
Yeah, they don't want to run the football, but they had it on us. They had it. It was available.
They were averaging a high numper against us, but they wouldn't do it.
That's the crazy part about it is like they can run it and then they just don't run it.
Yeah, we were giving up, I think 5.5 yards per rush, and they just would not run the football. And I was at the game, and you got Eagles fans screaming like, "Run the football!" I'm like, "Bro, if you run the football, you're gonna get this first down." They choose the pass. It's weird. I don't know what's up with that, but so I don't know. Our defense, I think you potentially could run on us. That's gonna be the and I think it's a bit frustrating from a Panthers perspective because you got Derrick Brown and you got Daquan Jones. Those guys, you thought that would have been the fix, right? Especially having Daquan Jones there because he was the guy that's supposed to be the sidekick. onto Derrick Brown. Last year, Derrick Brown didn't have a sidekick. It was damn near him solo. And so we feel like, we should be able to stop the run, but we can't for some reason. I think Shaq Thompson being out too, that doesn't help either. He's not able to plug those gaps. So
that's exactly how we feel up in New York. I mean, we got Dexter Lawrence there, 340-pound man. He's been, really good his first 2 or 3 seasons. And we got Leonard Williams, 2 first-round picks right in the middle of the defensive line. And because everybody else can't tackle, it really doesn't matter. And guys are just running to the edge.
Yeah. So I think from an injury standpoint, I don't think we had a chance to really talk about our injuries because we got some too. Shaq Thompson is not going to play. Christian McCaffrey obviously is not going to play. Who else we got? That's banged. Terrace Marshall is banged up, got a concussion, so he may not play.
Our kick returner might not play.
Yep, our kick returner Alex Erickson, he may not play due to concussion. So we got some guys out, not nowhere near as bad as the Giants, but we have some guys out. Our quote unquote starting guard, he's not playing. He shouldn't be starting anyway. So we prefer the backup over the starter anyway, but he's not playing either.
Yeah, but we might actually have a Michael Jordan sighting.
Oh
no. Yeah, he's trash too.
Dude is bad.
Yeah, Dennis Daly, I hope is fine and he's able to go because Dennis Daly was actually performing pretty well at left guard. But so we got a lot of injuries too, man. So it's going to be really the battle who's available. Really, one thing I really want to keep an eye out on too is Matt Rule definitely came out and said, "Fam, we got to run the football. We got to run the football more." They put the football in Sam Darnold's hands way too much last week. He threw the football 40 sometimes. We don't want Sam Darnold throwing the football 40 times a game. We want to be able to run the football. So I really think you're going to see an effort to really, really run the football. And last week I called for it. I said, the Panthers should run the football more. The Vikings were giving up $130 per game. And I think we ran the football 20 sometimes. So the goal is to run it 30 plus times per game. I think if we can run the football 30 plus times and have maybe 100, 120, 130 rushing yards, I think we can win the game. But if we get behind and start putting the football in Sam Darnold's hands, I think that's when we start getting into trouble. He starts making some decisions. I think. Go ahead, Dave.
The crazy thing about the Rule thing about he wants to run the football more. We have the 9th most rush tips in the NFL right now. So it's kind of wild to me for him to say that, and then we're top 10 in running the ball. But we do need to run it more because we do not want Sam Darnold throwing the ball 30 times. We want him to throw it 20.
I think it's slightly skewed because we were able to really do that effectively the first couple games because the defense is playing so well. So we could play ball control offense. And because we playing from behind the past couple games, or it's actually competitive and we got to score, I think you starting to put the football in Sam's hands a little bit more. And I don't think they want to do that. So the goal for this game or any game for the Panthers is to run the football, play good defense, play ball control offense. Again, we lost the time possession battle last week. Anytime we lose the time possession battle, we're probably going to lose the game just because we want to play good defense and hold the football. That's the bottom line. So, any other questions for Diggy?
Nah, man, I'm good. I mean, I feel bad, man, because like we're sitting here in a rough state in Carolina.
We both like depressed, man.
Both teams are depressed. My man Diggy came up in here like, like this is bad.
I'm telling you, man, right now, until they prove me wrong, I mean, the Giants are a get right team. I mean, it's they have so many flaws, but while they're healthy, they have so much talent on the team that they could win any game. I mean, last year we competed with the Bucks. I mean, that talent could win any game. But with all those guys injured, I'm like, who's going to flip the field? Sterling Shepard is a really good receiver, but he's not somebody that's going to, catch a pass and make 7 people miss it and score with it. That's just never been his game. He's a chain mover. He's a really good chain mover, but he's a chain mover.
Let's have a
John Ross.
Let's have a quick talk. Yeah, let's have a quick talk about your coaching staff. Like, no. I'm asking because Panther Nation knows how critical I've been of our coaching staff. So I want to know from a Giants perspective, what do you think of your coaching staff? Because I know a lot of folks were trying to figure out who the hell Joe Judge was when you hired the guy. So I just want your thoughts on Joe Judge and how he's done as a coach?
First year, no off season. I liked what I saw. I liked the way that the team competed. I liked they were disciplined. All the fundamentals, everything he talked about, the old school football, tackling, everything, no penalties, all of it looked perfect. I don't know if it's because there's fans in the stands now. All of a sudden his clock management has gotten worse this year.
Oh, that sounds familiar.
He can't manage the clock. He can't. He's making a lot of mistakes. He's making weird challenges. He's always been really conservative about going for it on fourth down. So we'll be on a 36 or the 37 and we'll punt. And we have y'all know Graham.
Oh, that sounds familiar. Oh, we very familiar with Graham.
Exactly. So he can kick those field goals. And I think like Graham Gano might have lost his confidence because we had so many chances for him to kick that long field goal. And we didn't give him those chances. And now he's coming in and missing field goals. So
we know that Graham Gano too.
We know both Graham Ganos.
Exactly.
And you knew 65-yard Graham Gano before you got him, and now you know the Graham Gano we had when you ended up with him. So it's rough sledding with Graham Gano, man. He's been up and down. Yeah, that's the nature.
But Joe Judge, I mean, every single thing that I wanted for him last year, he delivered on. But this year, the team is sloppy. They can't tackle. It's consistent across the board. They can't tackle. They can't run block. They make a ton of mistakes at crucial times. Last year, I felt like that team really outplayed that roster, the way that they were able to play and win games that they shouldn't win. This year, we lost 2 or 3 games that we should have won. I mean, as bad as the Giants are right now, as bad as they played the last 2 weeks, we still should have 3 wins at this point because we jump off sides on the kick. Which actually got reviewed in the NFL, say that we weren't offside. So we should have won that Washington game. And then the Falcons game, we shot ourselves in the foot in that game too. So we've kind of hurt ourselves, and that's exactly what he said we wouldn't. And it just seems like at this point, with everything kind of avalanching and the fans in the stadium, he's getting booed. It seems like the moment is too big for him at this point. That's what it looks like to me. And if you feel the team and you're coaching the team and they get blown out multiple weeks in a row, if the Panthers blow the Giants out 3rd week in a row, at that point he could be really in trouble as far as his job, because I have not seen Giants fans as upset as they've been. I mean, this is a team with 4 Super Bowls. Used to being in the playoffs, used to at least competing for the playoffs. And about since 2013, it's been really rough. And we keep getting sold that we're going in the right direction. We got sold that we can rebuild and win at the same time. And that didn't work. And that's how we keep ending up.
That sounds familiar too.
Exactly. So, I mean, Giants fans are angry. And I think this is one of those few cases where I think that the Giants fan base can actually influence ownership so much by just the foul stench that's being left in our mouth that, I mean, he could be on his way out. And if you ask me at this point, just from what I've seen and his ability, it seems like he just doesn't have the locker room. I mean, Jabril Peppers, he's one of those guys who was like an energy starter for the team. That dude is hype. I don't know if y'all saw the clip that went viral of him against the Saints in overtime, where he was yelling and cussing and stuff. He's an energy person, and he's getting
the coin toss today. Was that the coin toss?
Yeah, the coin toss.
I saw that.
Oh,
yeah,
God,
he's getting interviewed today, and he just looks so defeated. He looks defeated. He's giving one-word answers. This is a dude that's excited all the time. Last year we were losing, he was excited. He's giving one-word answers, and they said, do you want to be traded? Do you even want to be here? And he said, man, I just want to win. So he didn't say, I don't want to be traded. He didn't say, I want to stay here. So, like, to break a player that's that positive, that's that exciting, it just doesn't seem like they're hearing him. So the only way that's going to happen is if he's able to give them a game plan that they can execute and they start winning games. If that doesn't happen, he might have to be on his way out, which stinks, because I think he has potential. He just might not have been ready yet.
Yeah, that all sounds familiar.
The Belichick coaching tree, man, strikes again.
And you see Brian Flores struggling down there, and we thought that the Dolphins would be, one of the best teams in the league right now.
They might not be struggling too much longer if you want to believe what's going on with that.
Yeah.
So give me some more David Gettleman slander, man. Come on, let's gang up on
that. Yeah, man.
So give me your opinion on your quarterback though. When he took Daniel Jones, what was kind of your reaction when that happened?
Well, every Giants fan thought we were going to take Josh Allen, the edge player.
Oh no.
And we all thought that we would take him. Also, every Giants fan loved Justin Herbert. We were like, that's going to be our quarterback. We saw all the hate he was getting, and we was defending him like he was already on the Giants. So we thought we would take him the following year, but we didn't take him. We took Daniel Jones. I think I made a rant video. It's probably still up on my channel of being mad that we took Daniel Jones. Now, I wasn't one of those people who went all the way left who said that he wasn't a first-round prospect, because he was. Teams in the teens were thinking about taking him. And if that's your quarterback, if that's your guy, I mean, go ahead and take him right there. I don't have an issue with that. It's been up and down. He's been here. His rookie year, he was making a ton of plays, but he was turning the ball over too much. And I think they're trying to coach the aggressiveness out of him, which I don't think is the right way to coach a Daniel Jones. He reminds me a lot of Jameis Winston, a quarterback that can make a ton of big plays and a quarterback that can get kind of careless at times. So the last, 10 games, he was making good decision after good decision, being incredibly efficient with the ball. But they're not letting him take as many deep shots. They're not letting him be as aggressive with the ball. He kind of fixed the fumbling issue until last week. I mean, his entire line imploded, but he hadn't thrown an interception since November 8th, a legit interception. He threw a Hail Mary interception and a tip pass interception. Before last Sunday, he hadn't thrown a legit interception since literally November 8th. So he was playing good football. The first 4 weeks of the season, he was looking like, if you could just package those first 4 weeks, he was a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. But again, he's got to put it together for more than a couple of games, and he's not given the opportunity to do that because he's had a ton of people injured around him pretty much his entire career. Saquon has been out of the lineup pretty much DJ's whole career. Hasn't been able to have a run game. Hasn't had an offensive line. And Jason Garrett, if being honest, he's probably one of the worst offensive coordinators in the NFL. I'll say, as far as like as an individual, I would say he's probably done a good job developing him as like, this is how to be an NFL quarterback. But the scheme, it's been no good. So Daniel Jones, I think his ceiling is a guy that could be a top 10 quarterback. I don't think he could ever be like an MVP guy. I don't think he could do that, but I think he could be a top 10 quarterback. He just needs a competent offensive line and just a couple of receivers.
Yeah. You don't have to be a top 10 quarterback to win a Super Bowl. You guys should know that. Yeah. You don't have to be you don't have to be MVP to win a Super Bowl.
You just got to be the MVP when it matters. And that's the thing. It's a big debate about Daniel Jones in the Giants community. And he's saying 40 turnovers. I didn't say he was a top 10. That might be a Giants fan the way he's talking in the chat. But that's funny. But anyway, from everything that I've seen that's been positive for Daniel Jones, it's hard for me to just really like bear down and defend him and say like he's our future. I can't say somebody's our future until I see them in pivotal games, until I see them in like the game to go to the playoffs, which we did see Daniel Jones play well last year. But I mean, it was to go 6-10 and have a shot at the playoffs, not you going to really compete in the playoffs. I want to see how you compete in the playoffs, because there's a ton of quarterbacks that make the playoffs, and we just pretty much know like, yeah, they're not going to the Super Bowl. So
but the thing is, man, you never know, right? Like once you're in, anything can happen. Like,
yeah, but some guys just can't make it happen. Some guys are just gonna always fold under that pressure.
Yeah, we'll see.
I just want to see him in those situations.
the Matt Stafford experiment in LA is going to be interesting to say the least.
Yeah, it is.
It's going to be interesting because everybody's saying, "Oh, well, now Stafford's got all this help." So we're gonna see. We're gonna see what them lights are on when he makes the playoffs. Is he gonna make it this year?
That's a fact. All right, so we gotta go ahead and get a prediction because I know it seems like we both of us are down. Like both fan bases are like, this is some bullshit. You got one fan base, the Giants, y'all pissed off, and I have a feeling, like if we lose this game, like no disrespect to the Giants, but if we lose this game, like our fan base is going to explode. Like
if you lose this game,
already,
y'all got some issues. Y'all got some serious because, like I said,
if we lose this game, I think I'm gonna have a lot of folks on the bandwagon with me about getting ruled out of here this year.
Yeah,
and that's crazy because Giants fans right now, as we speak, are on Twitter yelling at each other about how we messed up because we didn't hire Matt Rule, and you guys are talking about getting rid of Matt Rule.
Matt Rule. We that's a whole nother discussion.
We can get into it because that is a good point. We did kind of swipe him from you.
Yeah, that's true. We did kind of swipe him from you, but Matt Rule is a good people's coach. Like he's a good player. Like he's a people motivator. He's a preacher. He says all the right things. Like
we got the same dude then, pretty much.
Yeah, but like he's not good at anything. Like he doesn't have a specialty. He's not good at. He apparently has an offensive line background with you guys, but he sucks at. Our offensive line sucks ass. They sucked last year, and they sucked this year. And he brought in.
It got worse this year.
It got worse, yeah. And so he brought in Joe Brady. And Joe Brady has this, the pass game coordinator at LSU, all the hype around him.
Rashad,
and
he brought in Joe Brady.
Well, he didn't bring it. Well, the ownership brought in Joe Brady, to be specific. And so like we trying to, because we see what we want to see, what Panther Nation wants to see is development, right? Most of Panther Nation would be happy if we ended this season at close to 500. That's progression. Now you showing progression. We cool with that. We're not asking for playoffs. Playoffs is a cherry.
There's some people that are. And
some people are, but there's always going to be some. There's always going to be that in any fan base. But realistically, a realistic fan is saying, "Fan, we just want you to be near 500, and that's okay. Just show us improvement." And right now, what we're seeing from Matt Rule is the same shit as we saw last year. And fam, we'll give you the benefit of the doubt. You had no offseason. It was COVID, your first time head coach. We get it. You trying to learn. We gave you that year. But this year, it's the same things are happening. We started hot, and now we track the same thing. The same exact playbook as last year is happening this year.
The funny
different
thing is
different quarterback. Same.
The funny.
It's the same thing.
The funny thing is, we started 4-2 last year.
Yeah, we started 4-2, and
Teddy didn't win any more games.
3-0 this year, and now we on an 0-3 winning streak, or 0-3 losing streak. Excuse me.
Yeah.
So like it's the same thing. Like you're not adjusting. Like we beat some bad teams. The teams we beat, they were bad teams. They were not good teams. So when it gets time to you having to coach, and you're getting out coached, your inexperienced staff is getting out. The cats you brought from college they're not developing. They're not.
That's one thing better. I didn't agree with is who he brought in. I thought he should have brought in some people with some more NFL experience.
Yeah.
But it seems like y'all are dealing with the same issues we're dealing with. We got somebody who's a special teams coach who doesn't have that offensive or defensive specialty. And last week we gave up a first down because Johnny Hekker threw a first down because our players can't get out to put a man over top of the gunner. I mean, Johnny Hekker has 15, 16 first downs in his career, and we can't get somebody over the gunner. And Joe Judge is on the sideline yelling for them to watch the fake, but they're not listening to him. So
how about this though?
Thing.
You ever had somebody call double timeout?
Wait a minute. We might have
back-to-back timeouts.
Because
we
one
might,
thing that I'll say,
something there.
We don't have a double timeout, but what Joe Judge did do is he challenged a scoring play. He challenged a turnover. I think.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
So, and he said like I threw a flag because I got upset, and I'm like,
nah, that's pretty. That's pretty
and of
bad.
Of course, they still took our time out.
That's pretty bad. Yo, that's fam. That's pretty bad, yo. That's up there. Like that's neck and neck with double timeout. I gotta be honest with you. That's pretty
double
ridiculous.
timeout was wild. Double timeout last week was wild.
That's
but
crazy.
double timeout pretty much described the Panthers season.
Yeah.
And we didn't even talk about the third quarter. How do y'all play going into the third quarter?
I would say our third quarter is probably one of our better quarters.
Oh shit. It might be a game.
Jesus, man. Y'all got a shot.
Second half of the third quarter is when we usually score our points.
Fun fact: the Carolina Panthers offense has only scored points in the third quarter once out of 6 games this year.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is we can't adjust to anything. If that's your best quarter, y'all gonna make this game more interesting than it needs to be.
Yeah, I know in the first quarter and the third quarter, the Giants usually look the best. In the second quarter and the fourth quarter, when it matters, is when they start to crumble.
It was obvious that for us, it matters in the third quarter because that's when we typically give the game away, bro. Like Dallas, we've led. Like the Vikings game was the first game that we didn't lead at halftime. That's when I knew it was about to go haywire because we led against Dallas, we led against Philly, we led, but then the third quarter is where we give it all up.
Yeah, what usually happens for the Giants is if you look at the first half, if it usually feels like this, especially when we're healthy, it's like it feels like we should be up by 10 or 15 points right now, but we're up by 3. And then you have your 2-minute drill by the other team offense, and they barely take the lead. They come out right out of the half, and then they score again. And then at that point, it doesn't really matter what the offense does because the defense kind of folds from there on out. But yeah, that's interesting. If the Giants go into the second half of a game with a lead, I'd be surprised because we usually kind of fold at the end of that first half.
Yeah, we're solid. We're solid first half team, bro. I think we've only trailed one time, one game
last week.
We've only trailed, and that was last week. So going into halftime, we've only trailed one time. We typically, and that's our game, right? We want to get up on you early, pause, and then then kind of chill from there. And so that's just how we roll. So we'll see, man. It's gonna be an interesting game. I think again, like I was saying, I think that if we lose it, if Panthers lose this game, it's gonna Mint Street is gonna have a lot of fans camping out. It's gonna be some problems. You're gonna start calling for heads. I think you'll see something happen if we lose this game. Again, no disrespect to the Giants. I just feel like y'all got a lot of injuries. I feel like it's a winnable game, and if we have the talent, like you said, the talent on this roster is there. Even if C-Mac is down, like we have enough talent on both sides of the football to be successful, and it's just not working. It's not being coached properly, in my opinion. So I think I think we're a solid team. Again, if all goes well and we hit on all cylinders, we'll win the game. But if something goes bad, we won't be able to adjust. So we'll see. So Diggy, let me get a prediction from you, bro.
Prediction. Y'all coming into the game struggling. I'll give you 24-13. I would pick the Panthers to win this game. Y'all are favored by, I think earlier in the week, you was favored by 2.5, 3 points. So
it's 3 points right now. I just checked on my bookie.ag. It's 3 points.
Yeah, Giants fans are looking at this game like only 3 points. I mean, they've been playing bad and they got more injuries. I don't understand how. I would take that if I was a better, but
well, the thing is,
I would now go
the thing is, we're on the road, and the Giants are at home, so typically
they give you 3 points for being.
They give you 3 points, so it's already. It was pretty much in essence a 6-point swing.
Exactly.
The other way. So.
Yep. So Dave, what you got, bro?
Do I really have to give a score?
Yeah, man, you got to. Somebody got to.
All right. I mean, the Giants are banged up. I think if we lose this game, like we said earlier, it's gonna be off of somebody's head, yo. So I think we're gonna easily win it. We should be able to easily win this game because of all the injuries. So I think Rule's gonna get what he wants. He's gonna run the ball more. So I'm thinking 27. 17.
That's close to my score. I'm gonna say 27-14. I think y'all get a couple scores, but I think we'll be able to get up and kind of just coast throughout the game. Again, I think we're going to plan to run the football. And I think somebody asked about Shi Smith in the chat. Shi Smith is a guy that I think is going to get some burn. I think they want to use him like they used Curtis Samuel last year. I think you'll see some looks because Matt Rule did say that he was going to be playing some tailback. So should be interesting. I don't know. We'll see. But I think you're going to see a lot of at least 30 plus rushes, 33 rushes this game. And hopefully we're going to be successful at it, because if we're not, we're going to abandon it and put it in Sam's hands. So that's not what we want to see.
Yeah, the only way I see y'all losing this game is if it's one of those weird 3-4 turnover games where it's a pick six and a block punt and all of that stuff would have to happen. Other than that, I mean, clean. Yeah, it does.
It happens.
Clean football. I just don't see them being able to win this game with all the injuries right now.
Gotcha. All right, Diggy, you got anything else, Dave, before we get up out of here?
Nah, man, I'm good. Just tell the people where you come. Tell the people where we can find you, Diggy.
You can find me at DIGGE, like it's spelled right here on the screen, 546. I usually try to put out some more like general NFL content, so be on the lookout for that. I try to get into some film sessions. I'm real heavy into the draft, so if you're looking for draft content this offseason, you'll probably see some of it there. Same thing on Twitter, same thing on Instagram. And yeah, thanks for bringing me on. That's pretty much all I got right now.
Yeah, appreciate that, bro. Appreciate you coming on. So, man, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Get in the comments if you got something to say. But that being said, we're getting up out of here. Looking forward to the game on Sunday. Hopefully the Panthers get a dub. But we out.
All
Peace.
Right. Peace, guys.